welcome back to Metal of Honour. It's been a while again. I think since changing the address on the website and Google Maps and everything, I knew it was going well for people finding us on Google more often, but I think I underestimated how busy it was going to be for the run up to Christmas. And of course, the wife and myself have been away for a week as well, so that was a well-needed break after the chaos of just getting in the new studio and everything. But back again, still got plenty more videos lined up. Thanks for all the likes and the subscribes and everything. Also, by the time this has gone out, I think when I first started this, I think it was about a year ago, I put a first video on just as like a little tester, but sort of taking it a bit more seriously for content. I think it was like end of February-ish. It's all a blur. I can't quite remember. And I think I remember at the time thinking, maybe if I'm lucky, might actually get something like 200 subscribers maybe by Christmas, sort of in the first year. So I know how slow a lot of YouTube channels can grow, especially knowing some people that have with big and small channels for like gaming. So I do gaming myself, and I know some people that have been doing it for a couple of years and still got 200 subscribers. But I was really hoping to have at least like 200 subscribers by Christmas. But I think as of this recording, I'm not even sure what it's on right now. But I was just completely blown away by how the year's gone. They go 3,106. I don't know who the 107th person is going to be, but yeah, 3,106. And it's not even Christmas yet. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone that's been watching all of these videos. That's incredible. I had no idea it was going to go like this. But I'm really pleased everything's helping. And this video is a bit different, showing you what you can do with it's kind of like the standard, like the cheapest handpiece, drill handpiece that you can get for your pendant motor drill. The one I'm using here is a Fordham brand. You can buy the cheap copies off of eBay, and I've got one of those that I've got years ago, and that one does work just as well for what you do in this video. But yeah, we'll just crack on, get started. And it's just like a simple gents little pendant, or for a lady. But these handpieces, I say that they're almost like indestructible. I use like the slip joint version. You can buy the different versions, but it's a bit like your normal sort of hand drill where you've got like your chuck key and a bit separate. But for this pendant, I'd started off with it's like 4.3mm wide round rod. I've done some of these pendants before like this, and I've done bigger versions when like blokes want like nice big, almost like a bullet casing or like a shell casing. Well, I've done it on the actual lathe, and I've turned it up and put some grooves in, and sort of especially like in silver, like oxidized the little rings, like the circles, and they've come out really well, and they just look effective. But especially if you've been in the trade for a little while, even as a hobbyist, you will recognise this handpiece as being like one of the cheapest that you can get. And quite often you see like the attachments where it's got like a little plate that goes on the top of it, where it's got like a sanding spinner where you can do wax carving, sort of wax trimming. There's like a little belt sander attachment you can get for these. I've got none of those at all, but I'm sure all those tools work nice. I've just never had a need for them. But yeah, you find that these little slip joints can sometimes be a little bit tricky. But as always, even when things are a little bit odd, I don't cut it out or anything. So this is just like a normal, nice little bit of straight bar. You've seen other videos how to straighten up round wire where you have it resting on a bit of card. I've done that before. I had to get a perfectly straight bar, or within reasonably straight as you'll get. And just this is a cut 0 file, just big hand file. It doesn't really matter what shape, as long as one side has got a flat. So it could be a half round ring file like this, or just a standard half round file. But whatever you've got, you can make work, even if it's a 3 square hand. You'll just make do with this. And the trick is to keep it running. Try and keep it moving along the whole file. Use up plenty of it. This technique, it does clog up the file quite a bit, but you've probably seen my other video. After you've watched this one, if you haven't, after you've watched this, you can just click on the little tab, maybe give a little subscribe and click the bell while you're there. But a few videos ago, I actually done it was quite a short video, but like just very useful, a simple way of cleaning out the files that you don't use all the brass brushes and all things like that. Someone did say about using like a chalk for the files as well. On one of the comments, a couple of regular watchers had mentioned that. Thanks for that. I still haven't given it a go, but when I'd actually looked it up, it was basically like Johnson's baby talc. So, and I've got loads of that here from when I've done casting bits in the Delft clay. I always use the talcum powder, or what some people have called chalk. So yeah, I'll give that a go at some stage. But for this, going along the file, you can run that even sort of a more shallow angle. If you want it a bit pointier, you could do it so it matches an actual bullet casing or shell casing. I'm not sure what what the correct term is. I can't remember which bit's which. But yeah, after you've done that file, if you wanted to, you could go onto a smoother, like a finer file, whether it's like a cut 2 or something. But you can see this, I've gone straight onto like a 500 grit sandpaper. And for this bit, you are going to basically lean it right down as well, so you can get like the flat of it quite nicely. And you can take these finishes as smooth or as rough as you can. If you look carefully on certain shots, you probably notice it more if you were to watch it in slow motion. There's some bits where it hasn't gone, whereas like on the lathe, your actual angles are perfect. Sometimes when it's like things like this, they don't quite go to like a lathe standard, but at the end, if you notice one side looks possibly like a little flatness to it, you just make that the front of the pendant or the back of the pendant, and that would just sort of determine where you decide you want to drill. This is a number 4 saw blade. It's like pretty much one of the thickest you can get. On this, I've just sort of eyeballed it. You notice that I'd sort of felt which way the blades are going. So when it's like that, you want the blades pointing away from you because of the nature of the way the drill spins. You want that sort of carving out as that, what you'd normally call like a drill bit, but as the little pendant, you want it sort of rolling back underneath and sort of hitting and getting on those little teeth. And you could do as many of these as you want. If you want to do this more precise, you could get your dividers out and mark out all the individual little cuts that you want to do. But again, for this video, it's really just showing you the technique. You can make this a little crisper if you want. You can almost cut, say like, I said that this was about 4.3 millimeter wide in diameter. So really, you could do that line so it goes really deep. So if you have a bit of practice and get to know how accurate your actual handpiece is, because they will all vary a little bit, you could just do a deeper cut going to about 1.5 mil. And by the time you've actually taken the piece out and like by the time you've drilled it for a chain, those little slots that you've cut, they will actually look black anyway, and they would actually look dark. But that would turn into not a nice quick video showing you this sort of technique or what you can do with this handpiece, because it is all. I think this is called like an H10, possibly. Don't quote me on that one though. It might be the Fordham H10 handpiece, just off the top of my head. And you can see that I've been doing this for a little while as well, for a couple of minutes. But just you find escapement file, square one, just get those little grooves in, just angle it out a little bit, and you could go in with your free square if you want it at like a steeper angle going in. And you find in your collection you normally have a file like one of these files, because they don't always come in all of the grades, but you'll have some that you might have used for a lot longer that are a bit smoother. So sometimes you can sort of play it like that as well. You can even use your half round file, your your round needle file, and even sort of just really scoop out that actual channel for just a different look again. So you can see here I've taken it out. My normal sort of wedge hand clamps, like my favourites, as you've seen me probably use in pretty much every video I've done this year. And I've just taken off that little top chamfer, that little rough bit. I've gone over the top, just smooth that out. And again, straight away with a 500 grit buff stick, straight in from a file. If I was doing this in gold or platinum, I'd probably take it to a finer file and just get it a bit smoother and then start buffing. And for this, just a round carbide burr is what I'm using. You can tell it's the carbide version of the bush drill bits, or the bush collection, because it's got the little yellow tab. You can just use normal as well. Doesn't really make a great deal of difference for a job like this. But you can see that again, I just eyeballed that. One of the things when you do something like that for so long, you can just pick it up, just go straight in and just get it accurate first time, which is nice. You know, the longer you do things, the easier it all becomes. But again, you can just use your dividers or your actual verniers, actually set a mark in for a specific millimetre and go down. And like I said, that was just to do the little pilot sort of groove, straight in with a twist drill, going from both sides. Again, you can't really show it in the video, but it's one of those things, if you're holding it, you can sort of keep your hands rigid together and look down, and you can sort of see if you're going directly down the centre. But going from both sides, it should meet in the middle. But keep your drill going fast, because as that hole's about to meet up, even if it's off a little bit, if you're using the twist drill, sometimes that could, if you're going too slow, it could just snag and go, it'll just snap in half. Which, if you ever have the problem of a drill bit, like that one got stuck there, and that's a case of taking the foot off the power and just give it a little wriggle, only gently, and then full throttle, and it will sort of, it's like getting a car stuck out of mud, like a little bit of rocking back and forwards, and then just full power, and get yourself out of it. But a little trick though, if I'm sure people have got like these ball burrs, if they snap inside, sometimes you get half of that ball stuck in the middle somewhere, or it could be a twist drill. Instead of poking around it, if it's a standard twist drill, you can go in with these tungsten burrs and actually drill it out. It will cut through the normal steel drill bits. But but if it was one of these that were to break, which they do sometimes, just warm up your acid or safety pickle, even if that's what you use, and just put it in, even like one of those like little tiny jam jars, or what Americans call jelly. You know, like you get those little miniature jars, or it could be even like one of those old little camera pops for the plastic. Fill that up with a little bit of the acid, the warm acid, and just drop your piece in there, and just leave it for half an hour. You can even hold that little pot and pull it in your ultrasonic as well, and that will just help agitate it. And just leave it there for a while, and it will go. So yeah, so quickly before I oxidize it, after I drilled through, gone through with a ball burr, use a slightly bigger ball burr just to zip on the ends a little bit, just to create a nice little chamfer. When you get to this stage, you can oxidize straight away, like me, or you can take it through finer papers. You can do whatever you want, honestly, whatever finish you're looking for. You could use like the Scotch-Brite on this if you don't want it. Like you can go through all the papers and make it super shiny. You can go through the papers, get it all nice and like a nice finish on it. Then do the like the back of a washing up sponge, like the Scotch-Brite, sort of cross hatching over, or a wire brush, sort of circling over every sort of surface, just to get that finish on there. But I generally like to oxidize this straight up, straight away. You know, it's just find it a lot easier and a lot more manageable as well. Go have a big cup of tea or coffee if that's your thing. Yeah, and with this stuff, you notice that it can, because it's like a sulphur, it does smell a bit when you're putting it on, but the worst is when you've sort of rinsing it under cold water under a tap, and it all sort of breaks down and it's in the bottom of the sink. That's when that pure egg smell comes up. It tends to be one of those things that I do when customers and that aren't in the building, because it's just going to smell like you've eaten a dozen eggs, you know, like an hour before, and your stomach hasn't quite sort of dealt with it. And but yeah, generally do that when there's nobody around the oxidizing. Yeah, so as well on this part, if you don't want to do a sandpaper and a crosshatch, you can put a directional finish on it quite nicely by hand as well, and it will, especially because it's so small. If this was like same in the size of like a baked bean can, and you're trying to put a straight finish on it, you're going to see it all wobbling on anything that's like the size of a mug. Trying to put a straight, it's not going to look a perfect directional. Whereas on something this small, you're absolutely fine, and it looks good. But I say you can do whatever finish you want on here. This video really was just all about showing what you can do as like a little bonus extra with that handpiece. And like even this looks good on a chain. At some stage I will do like a lathe tutorial as well. I mean, you can probably just about see it in the background now. I can't see from here. Yeah, you can just about see like the sort of turquoise, sort of orangey bit up here. But I will do it on a proper lathe at some stage, like a bigger one. But even that, you could do like a big one, then you could do two of these and thread on the chain next to it, so it sort of looks more tribal. These ones, you can maybe do 5 or 6, as long as the chain is strong enough. But that probably weighs about 1.5 grams, or maybe 2 grams, 2.1 ish. Don't quote me on it though. But yeah, that's how you use that tool for something so simple. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little one. I say I really am trying to get back onto a weekly schedule to try and just keep putting out the content, you know, because it's gone so well throughout the year, and I really do enjoy doing it. Thanks again for well over 3,000 subscribers now. Still hasn't properly sunk in, you know, but who knows what it'll be on this time next year. If it doubles, that'll be an interesting target. See if I can get to maybe 6,000 by next Christmas. I know that's asking quite a lot, but yeah, I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Yeah, it's all overwhelming really. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't seen the other videos, go and have a look at the other videos. So far, as far as I know, and people have told me, everything's been really helpful. I'm sure you'll find something that's new that you've not seen, or just a different way of doing my technique. And don't forget that just because I do things a very particular way, it's because I've been doing that for over 28 years since I started learning, and I've got my way. Someone else that's been doing it as long as me will end up with the same result. For people that actually still make handmade jewellery, they'll end up with the same result, and they'll hold things different. They'll use different clamps and just everything. They'll do things so different, but it's getting to that end target. And this is just my way, showing you how I do it, how I find is the easiest way, and that I think is going to help people more. But yeah, thanks again for absolutely everything. I'd like to have another video on before Christmas, so I won't say Merry Christmas just yet. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.